Hey, everybody, and welcome to another Crimson Conversations. This time we got Marko Djurdjevic on, Sixmorevodka, Marvel, all that stuff. Hello,
Hey,
Marko.
everybody. Thanks for having me tonight. Thanks again.
Yeah, thanks for, taking time out to do this because I know a lot of people have been waiting for us to bring you on because we've been talking about how we
Really?
wanted to for a
Come
while.
on, stop bullshitting me.
And we're not bullshitting you.
No,
We
man.
Late night.
I didn't think you'd be so open to just coming on. I shot you an email like a week ago, and you were like, "Yeah, totally." And I was like, "Oh, okay,
I,
cool."
I've been removing myself from the public eye for so long. I can do the occasional interview every once in a while. Come out of my hole, say
There you
hi,
go.
and just disappear again.
Well,
awesome.
we've got a bunch of questions here. We've tried to break them into categories so we can have
Sweet
some old broken down discussions. We're gonna
guys, feel free to ask me anything. I'm an open book.
Okay, cool. We're gonna start off with a lot of this you might have talked about before, but in case anyone doesn't know, we're gonna run through some basics. But we're going to talk about, beginning, starting out, any kind of education you might have had. So, were you always doing art, even as a kid? And if so,
Like pretty much my entire life. I think it started with, as much as I remember people telling me at the age of 2 where I was just trying to copy Tom and Jerry, literally straight from the TV, and it just continues spiraling from that point on. And I've always, as a kid, I've been a very introvert person. Like I spent a lot of time just at the drawing board and just not doing anything else, but just drawing and drawing and drawing and creating worlds and universes and really prospering inside of it. I had probably the most fun just doing that, and nothing else. Like while other people would go play in the sun and run after a football, I'd be at home and just keep on drawing. It's always been like that.
cool,
And I even today, like I feel like I'm only happy when I draw.
cool. So, for people that either have your book or saw your character ideation, do you on how you created characters or drew the human figure?
Yeah, like either
I mean,
formal or
definitely. I
not.
mean, my time at MD shaped me a lot. I think my first exposure to Coro and Wes and Knox and being sitting in the same room with these guys was immensely influential in terms of how much you have to actually kick yourself in the butt to keep swimming with the sharks. Like I think that was a huge eye opener. But I've been very, like I've been on my own. Even the years before, I've been very critical towards my own work, and I've always been, my worst critic. So I've always forced myself to just never give up and just keep on doing what I was doing. But before that, no, there was no real outside motivation. It was actually pure isolation, and that was something that caused I remember when Coral and Andrew came along and offered me to become part of MD very very early. It was back in 2003 when before the company even existed. Um, as a physical entity, I was flattered. I felt like it was something unbelievably special that was happening to me because all that searching would eventually end, and I would have people around me that I could ask questions. So.
Yeah, cool, very cool. When did you decide, or at what point did you decide that you wanted to do this as a job? And after that, what was your first job? How did you get into it?
Actually, I never dreamed of becoming an illustrator or a concept artist in the first place. Like my dream jobs as a kid were a cook and policeman. And
That's cool.
I'm still into cooking. I still love cooking for my dearest friends and my family. And I'm I even knew that somebody could make art a living, or that you could actually make money doing art. And I stumbled into making money with my artwork at a comic shop, where some dude saw me drawing and asked me to draw some stupid RPG character of his. And I didn't know, like, he asked me how much I would charge, and I was completely, I didn't know what to say, I said $50. And he was like, okay. So I sat down at home and I drew this thing, and the next day he actually brought $50 to the store. And I was like, holy shit, this works, like, you could actually draw things and people like it, and they give you money for it. It went on for another 2 years until I realized, man, you should apply as an illustrator somewhere. When I was 17, there was a bunch of RPG companies in Germany back in the day, and I called an art director up of one of those companies, and I told him, man, look, I'm the 17. He felt I was unbelievably brash, and I mean, mind you, this was all before internet, or before you could look up somebody in a quick second and see if he's talented or not.
Right.
So he invited me for the next week to come by, take a 200-mile ride on the train, and bring my portfolio over, come to his office, showcase my stuff in front of him, and I did that. I jumped on the train the next week and went to his office and showed him my stuff, and he was excited. He felt like he found somebody that was really, like, looking back at that shit back in the day, it's horrible, but he must have seen something that I wasn't seeing or that other people weren't seeing, and he gave me the gig right there. And for the next 2.5 years, I think, I worked for them back and forth, did interior illustrations, cover work, and made my first money with it.
Were you doing that like just by itself?
I remember my first assignment was illustrating a full book with 60 illustrations and a cover, and that took me like 3.5 weeks or something to do, and I was amazed. The money that I was getting for that was uncomparable to any bar job that all my friends were doing, and I was like, man, I got to stay in this industry. If I want to be happy, I'm just gonna draw forever. But little did I know that my lucky strike then kind of disappear. At once, when I was out of high school, I realized that money that I was making back in the day wasn't enough to live off of it. Then you realize the reality of being a freelancer, and then you go through all the phases of couch surfing and trying to find a job and constantly being low on money, and then eventually after finishing high school, I had about, except or the people that were actually friendly enough of believing in me and letting me stay with them.
Jeez.
And then that went on for a long time, and I at a point in 2003 I almost had given up on the idea of actually really succeeding with my work and actually making it. And it was a good friend of mine that convinced me to post on concept art. He had knowledge of the site before me, and he was like, man, look, there's all these people on there, and you're at least as worthy to post there as they are, and they should know who you are, and they should get your attention, and they should see what you're doing, and maybe they're going to be an opening door for you into a completely different industry. And I was super afraid. I saw Foster posting on the boards, and I saw all these other guys posting on the boards, and I literally shat my pants. I had my first thread going, and was immediately bombarded by private messages with job offers and people congratulating me and asking me where I'm from and how to get in touch with me to work together with me. That was literally my breakthrough. I mean, literally at the moment everything started turning around, and all the artwork and all the struggle had some purpose to it.
Yeah, I actually remember that. Like me and Dan were in high school in art class. And I remember looking at that post,
Yeah.
like when that came out, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like we were all pumped about
I mean,
Genesis.
I had the same feeling. Literally, I crapped myself. I couldn't believe what was going on, and from that point on, all the doors opened. You know, like.
At like Genesis, I remember me and Dan, we were looking for it everywhere. We were like, "Is this a video game? Like, what is this?"
Yeah, we were trying to figure out for ages what it was.
Yeah, we like wanted it.
It was actually an RPG, a classical tabletop RPG that I produced with a friend over here. We spent over a year working on it, and I did all the drawing and the layout for it, and we published it in Germany, and it was a good success over here, and it definitely caused a lot of attention.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that was
posting
actually
that stuff internationally definitely like helped to cement me as probably a capable character designer back in the day.
Okay, so just as an aside, Dave, I'm being told by a few people that the broadcast quality on the audio is really, really down. Is there anything we can do before we go forward?
Oh, so it's really quiet?
No, it's choppy.
It's fine on my end. Maybe it's
It's got. I mean, the conversation on Skype's fine. We can hear you fine, Marco. It's got something to do with Procaster.
Hey, want me to stop it here and load it up on your computer?
We could do that.
Just to make sure, because I don't want to lose it.
Is there any way we can?
I'll give you my password. You can just log right back
Okay.
in, and we can restart.
Guys, we're gonna be back in just a second. Okay, I'm gonna broadcast it off my computer this time.
Yeah, it'll be the same. Just stop.